Good morning, all of you. Now I am going to discuss about respiration. That is, in the previous class, that means in the previous video, I discussed about glycolysis. The remaining steps will be discussed now. Okay. Actually, if you concern with the respiration may be two types: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Okay, both aerobic and anaerobic respiration, what is the common step? That is nothing but glycolysis. Glycolysis is the common step for both aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So what is the fate of this glycolysis? That means what are the end products of glycolysis? Ultimate products of glycolysis are 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, 2 ATP and 2 NADH+. These are the end products of glycolysis. End products of glycolysis. So what is the fate of this pyruvic acid? Pyruvic acid is entered into, if it is entered into anaerobic conditions, that means in anaerobic bacteria what happens? We'll discuss it first, because it is a simple process. After completing of the simple process like anaerobic respiration, we'll go to the detailed topic of aerobic respiration. Okay. So in anaerobic bacteria, where the oxygen is absent, glycolysis. After glycolysis, pyruvic acid is undergoing a process called as fermentation. What is the process? Fermentation. So during the fermentation, pyruvic acid is undergoing decarboxylation. This is a 3-carbon compound, pyruvic acid. It is undergoing decarboxylation, and here in this process energy is utilized. Energy is utilized in the form of NADH and releasing what? A 2-carbon compound called as ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol and CO2. CO2 is formed. Okay. So that means here the pyruvic acid is converted into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. That is the ultimate product of anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. And here the NADH is utilized. So actually in the glycolysis we have 2 ATP and 2 NADH, right? See here 2 molecules of pyruvic acid is undergoing fermentation and forming 2 molecules of ethyl alcohol and 2 molecules of CO2. Ultimately 2 NADH are utilized here. So only 2 ATP are the net gain for the anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. So in anaerobic respiration, what is the amount of ATP is generated means 2 ATP. Apart from this, actually it is fermentation. Example, yeast. The yeast performing fermentation. Yeast is actually yeast can perform fermentation if the alcohol percentage is 13%, below 13%. If it is excess to 13%, yeast will die. Then the process of fermentation will be decreases, right? So ethyl alcohol like beverage, if it is formed, that means it is synthesized in a beverage form, the percentage should be below 13%. Normal beverage like drinking alcohol, the concentration of alcohol should be, ethyl alcohol should be below 13%. Okay, if it is above 13%, there will be, process will be decreased because yeast will die. Yeast is comfortable with the alcohol percentage is below 13%. Okay, right. So this is about fermentation. What is the ultimate product of fermentation? Ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. Ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide are the ultimate products, and only 2 ATP is generated. Okay, and sometimes when you are doing exercises in muscles, there is a decrease of oxygen level. At that time, the pyruvic acid is converted into lactic acid, which is also a 3-carbon compound. Okay, so lactic acid generation maybe takes place. Here also there is a decrease of carbon dioxide, that means there is a decrease of ATP. Only 2 ATP are generated in that type of cells. Where the exercises are doing, there is a decrease in the level of oxygen. Automatically there is undergoing fermentation, not the actual process of aerobic respiration. Okay. So ultimately in anaerobic respiration, fermentation may be ultimate product may be ethyl alcohol or maybe a lactic acid. Okay, so example for the anaerobe is yeast. Okay, Clostridium anaerobic bacteria. So this is about the anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. So we'll go to the aerobic respiration now. So what is the end product of glycolysis? 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, 2 ATP and 2 NADH. What is the ultimate product of respiration means C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives rise to 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy. This is the equation for respiration. Okay, so here ultimately what we have to get? We have to get carbon dioxide, because inhalation is over, oxidation takes place. After that what you have to expel out? Carbon dioxide, and water molecule should be formed. Okay, right, and energy will be formed. That is the ultimate product. So how they are formed? That means this glucose is ultimately converted into carbon dioxide and water. How it is formed, we'll discuss. Okay, so first the pyruvic acid, where it is going? Where it is formed actually? It is formed in the cytoplasm, right? Because in glycolysis occur in cytoplasm only. Now this pyruvic acid is enter into a specialized organelle which is responsible for aerobic respiration. That is nothing but mitochondria. What is it? Mitochondria. This mitochondria is double membrane bound organelle. Double membrane bound organelle which is having okay, this is the structure of mitochondria, which is a rod shaped structure. Okay, and it is 2 membrane bound organelle. The membrane is inner membrane is infolded. These infoldings are called as cristae. Infoldings are called as cristae, and this is called as matrix. And apart from that, it is also having 70s type of ribosomes and circular double stranded DNA. So as it is having both the organelles like ribosomes and DNA, it is also called as semi-autonomous organelle. Semi-autonomous organelle. Okay, right, leave it. Now it is having matrix and cristae. You have to remember these 2 points only. And mitochondria first identified by Kolliker, and later Altman called them as bioplast. Altman called them as bioplast. Altman is also introduced nucleic acid. Nuclein. Nucleic acid is called as nuclein by Altman. So bioplast, and later Van Benda named it as mitochondria. Okay. So this is about mitochondria introduction. Now this pyruvic acid which is formed in the cytoplasm is entered into organelle called mitochondria. So what happens in mitochondria? After entering into the mitochondria matrix, first it is entered into matrix. Okay, in the matrix, so first the pyruvic acid is converted into a complex step, that is called as oxidation only. Oxidation takes place. Pyruvic acid, it's a complex step I said. It is combines with coenzyme A and oxidation. Remember, where there is an oxidation, there is a production of NADH. You have to remember for the respiration. Definitely, okay? NAD plus gives rise to acetyl CoA. Coenzyme A is added, okay? NADH H plus CO2 is eliminated. So it's a complex step. I said that it is a complex step, and it is dehydrogenase. Enzyme catalyzed by dehydrogenase. Pyruvic dehydrogenase, in the presence of this enzyme, it combines with coenzyme A and NAD plus and forming acetyl CoA. losing one carbon dioxide, forming two carbon compound called as acetyl-CoA, and also generation of NADH H+. Here how many molecules of pyruvic acid? Two molecules of pyruvic acid are enter into the matrix of mitochondria and forming two molecules of acetyl-CoA and two molecules of NADH H+ and two molecules of CO2. Okay, this is the first step of pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid is undergoing decarboxylation and dehydrogenation, that is nothing but oxidation takes place, and forming acetyl-CoA and NADH H+. Okay, now it is entered into another process called as tricarboxylic acid cycle. Tricarboxylic acid cycle. Okay, so tricarboxylic acid cycle is introduced by Krebs, so it is also called as Krebs cycle. Tricarboxylic acid cycle is also called as Krebs cycle. Okay, we'll discuss about this tricarboxylic acid cycle. Carboxylic group means COOH group, right? So here 3 COOH group containing compounds are first formed, that's why it is called as tricarboxylic acid cycle. Tricarboxylic acid cycle. This is discovered by Krebs, so it is also called as Krebs cycle. So what is the end product of pyruvic oxidation? Pyruvic dehydrogenation, that means oxidation, acetyl-CoA is formed. Now this acetyl-CoA is combined with a 4 carbon compound, this is 2 carbon compound acetyl-CoA, combines with oxaloacetic acid. OAA means oxaloacetic acid. This oxaloacetic acid is combines with acetyl-CoA in the presence of an enzyme called as citrate synthetase. Citrate synthetase, and ultimately 4 plus 2, 6 carbon compound called as citric acid is formed. Citric acid. This is called as condensation. The first step of tricarboxylic acid cycle is condensation. This citric acid, if you see the structure of citric acid, it is having 6 carbon compound. 3 carboxylic acid groups are there. That's why it is called as tricarboxylic acid cycle. Tricarboxylic acid cycle. Okay. So what is the first step? Condensation. Forming citric acid. Now this citric acid is undergoing dehydration. Dehydration means water molecule is removed out and forming cis-aconitic acid. Cis-aconic acid. This is also a 6 carbon compound. 6 carbon compound. Now again water is added, hydration in the presence of same enzyme aconitase. Here also aconitase and forming isocitric acid. Isocitric acid. Actually this is also a 6 carbon compound. Okay, citric acid, cis-aconitic acid, isocitric acid. Now this isocitric acid is undergoing first oxidation in Krebs cycle, that is oxidation 1, where there is an oxidation, there is a generation of NADH+. Okay, so NAD converted into NADH+ in the presence of an enzyme called as isocitric dehydrogenase. Now whenever there is an NADH, you have to write simply dehydrogenase enzyme. This is an oxidation step first in oxidation 1 in citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle. Now this isocitric acid is converted into oxalosuccinic acid. This is also a 6 carbon compound. Oxalosuccinic acid. Now remember this oxidations, okay. See, oxalosuccinic acid now undergoing decarboxylation. That means it's a 6 carbon compound loses 1 carbon and forming alpha ketoglutaric acid. Alpha ketoglutaric acid. So decarboxylase enzyme is oxalosuccinic decarboxylase. decarboxylase. Ase is the suffix used to for enzyme name and substrate name, and the reaction you have to add it, and you can simply write the enzyme name. Okay, alpha ketogluteric acid. Now this alpha ketogluteric acid undergoing oxidation 2, and here also decarboxylation takes place. You have to get a doubt in pyruvic acid to acetyl CoA. There is a complex step where decarboxylation takes place and oxidation takes place, but we are simply writing the enzyme dehydrogenase without, and we are giving the name of the reaction as oxidation only. There is no, actually this can be called as oxidative decarboxylation. Reaction is okay. Oxidative decarboxylation, that means oxidation plus decarboxylation takes place. Why we are writing enzyme name dehydrogenase means, actually here energy deriving process. So we have to concern about the energy deriving process only, not the elimination thing anamata. So that's why it is writing like that dehydrogenase, not concerning about the decarboxylase. If it is simply taking only decarboxylation, we can write the decarboxylation, but here it is related to the energy concern compound also. That means NADH plus is generated, so that we are concerning only about energy concerning process only. So that's why we are giving the name of this reaction mainly called as oxidative decarboxylation. It is oxidative decarboxylation. Here one more process, coenzyme A is also added and NAD is converted into NADH plus. So here 1, 2, oxidation 2, remember. Okay, and decarboxylation takes place annam. So this is alpha ketogluteric acid is a 5-carbon compound. Now this alpha ketogluteric acid loses one carbon dioxide, so that it forms a 4-carbon compound called as succinyl CoA. Coenzyme is added. Now this succinyl CoA is undergoing cleavage and forming one ATP. Actually here in my studies, at the time of my studies, they used to write GTP, not ATP. You will get confusion, that's why they are writing ATP directly. Actually there is a GTP is formed, guanosine triphosphate, not adenosine triphosphate. Okay, leave it. So here ATP is generated. Succinyl CoA is releasing one inorganic phosphate. That inorganic phosphate is accepted by ADP and forming ATP. So here it is a substrate level phosphorylation. SLP takes place, substrate level phosphorylation, which is equal to the substrate level phosphorylation in glycolysis. Okay, now this succinyl CoA is converted into succinic acid in presence of an enzyme called as succinyl thiokinase. This process is called as cleavage. Okay, now this succinic acid is formed. This succinic acid is undergoing third oxidation 3 in presence of an enzyme called as succinate dehydrogenase, and here the coenzyme is not NADH plus. Here FADH2 is formed. FADH2. Now this FADH2 is formed. This succinic acid is converted into fumaric acid. Fumaric acid is also a 4-carbon compound. Now this fumaric acid is converted into malic acid by adding of one water molecule. This process is called as hydration, and the enzyme is called as fumarase and forming malic acid. Now this malic acid is undergoing last step, that is oxidation 4. 4 oxidations takes place and forming oxaloacetic acid. Here the coenzyme is NADH plus, not FADH2. Okay, so here 4 oxidations are there. 4 oxidations. One step is at isocitric acid to oxalosuccinic acid. Iso to oxalosuccinic acid. Next, second step is alpha keto to succinyl CoA. Alpha keto to succinyl CoA. Understood this reaction? Next, succinic acid to fumaric acid. Next, fumaric acid to malic acid. Again I am saying, now first acetyl CoA is the compound which is entering into the Krebs cycle. Acetyl CoA is a 2-carbon compound. it combines with a 4-carbon compound called as oxaloacetic acid and forming citric acid, which is a 6-carbon compound in the presence of an enzyme called as citrate synthase, and the reaction is called as condensation. Now the citric acid is removing water molecule, that is called as dehydration, in presence of an enzyme called as aconitase, and forming cis-aconitic acid. Now this cis-aconic acid is accepting one water molecule, hydration takes place and forming isocitric acid. Now this isocitric acid is converted into oxalosuccinic acid. This is the first step of oxidation in Krebs cycle, where the NAD plus converted into NADHH plus, and oxalosuccinic acid is removing one carbon dioxide, that is called as decarboxylation, and 6-carbon compound is converted into 5-carbon compound called as alpha ketoglutaric acid. Now this alpha ketoglutaric acid is undergoing oxidative decarboxylation, oxidation 2. Here one carbon dioxide is removed out and NADHH plus is generated and coenzyme A is added and ultimately forming succinyl-CoA, which is a 4-carbon compound in presence of an enzyme called as alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. Okay. Now this succinyl-CoA is undergoing succinic cleavage and forming succinic acid, releasing one inorganic phosphate, and that phosphate is accepted by ADP and converting it into ATP. Okay, and removing coenzyme A also here. Coenzyme A is also removed out. Okay, and forming succinic acid in presence of an enzyme called as succinate thiokinase. Now this succinic acid is undergoing third oxidation and converting into succinic acid into fumaric acid. Here the coenzyme is not NADHH plus, here FADH2 is formed. FAD plus converted into FADH2. Now this fumaric acid is undergoing dehydration and forming malic acid. Hydration and forming malic acid. Malic acid is converted into oxaloacetic acid by dehydrogenation, that means oxidation, in the presence of an enzyme called as malic dehydrogenase, and here also one NADHH plus is generated. So this is the Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. Okay, so we have to discuss what are the end products of this cycle.